Hey guys, welcome to Storytime with Jester. So, this is my third installment of the college football playoffs. Yes, my glorious Bulldogs beat Texas for the Southeastern Conference Championship game last night. It was an awesome game. But in any case, before we go on into this bracket here, I do want to make certain that everyone understands that this is not the actual playoff bracket. This is what I believe should be the playoff bracket if the brackets were done fairly and non biased. As you can see, this is completely different than what the actual brackets look like because, in the way that I believe fairness should be involved, which is always championships should be played out and determined by the field of play, by actually playing the games, not by some committee sitting in a room deciding who they like and putting them in the position to be in a playoff scenario. So, as you can see, these brackets here are the 5 conference championship games. The numbers circled are the winners of those championship games, and the top 2 champions of those championship games get the bye, and that is determined by the seeding of those particular teams not by any committee. Well, in this case, it was the committee because I used this year's rankings. But in my world, it would be from the Associated Press polls. But in any case, what you have here is Oregon and UGA because they won their conference championships. And the reason that Oregon is ranked number 1 is because they were ranked number 1 in the polls. The reason UGA or the SEC is ranked number 2 is because Texas was ranked second, and they were in the SEC championship game. So it's the conferences that are ranked, not the individual teams, but it's based on the individual teams. So again, to recap, the Big Ten Big Ten Conference was ranked number 1 because Oregon was ranked number 1, and they are in the Big Ten Conference. Even if Oregon had lost to Penn State, the Big Ten Conference would get the number 1 bye because of Oregon's pick. Same thing with the SEC. SEC, even though Texas lost, the SEC champion is the number 2 pick because the number 2 team was in the SEC, and so forth and so on. But in any case, what we have here after last night's SEC, and further here, the playoffs start with the SEC championship games. The playoffs aren't determined by the SEC championship games. They start with the SEC championship games, with the winners moving on. And instead of having 12 teams go, you have 10 teams go. But you still have basically the same kind of format because the highest ranked loser of these conference games actually still move on to be in the quarterfinals. In this particular case, Texas, after being defeated by UGA last night, would move on to the quarterfinals because of all the teams ranked, they are the highest ranked loser, being ranked number 2, Oregon having moved on with their defeat of Penn State. So, in my scenario of how the championship playoffs should work, with Boise losing or defeating UNLV, Boise moves over as the whatever conference they're in, champion. Um, Arizona State beating Iowa State in their conference championship moves on. Um, Clemson defeating SMU, they move on. Oregon defeating Penn State moves on. UGA defeating Texas moves on. And then Texas, being the highest ranking loser, moves on. All the other losers of these conference championship games do not advance in the playoffs because, again, this is a win and move on. Also, you'll notice that Notre Dame is not listed here because the reason Notre Dame is not listed here is because they're not in a conference. If they want to be considered for a national championship, they should enter, just like all the other independent teams, should enter into a conference. If they continue to choose not to be a part of a conference, then they will never be able to be a part of a national championship. Wah, that's just life, okay? You don't want to play with the big boys, then get out of this conference or this tier of teams and play with the lesser teams. In any case, that's why you will not see Notre Dame listed here, because they are not deserving of being part of a national championship if they can't play a conference schedule. Period. End of discussion. Also, you will not see any teams that cannot even make it to their conference championship games be considered to be a part of the national championship. So bye-bye Alabama, bye-bye South Carolina, bye-bye Ole Miss, bye-bye any team that didn't make their conference championship game. This is the way that the college football national championship brackets should always be determined, just like it in any other sport, being at any other level, being it basketball, football, baseball, hockey, high school, college, or pro. Everything is determined by the winners of their divisions and or conferences and moving on into the playoffs afterwards. Now, yes, baseball and pro baseball and pro football have developed a wild card scenario, which I think is utter garbage. Because again, if you can't win your freaking division, you got no right to try to battle for a national, for a whatever kind of championship. But in any case, this is still in my mind, the fairest way to do it, and it completely removes all bias by any think tank head committees who always want to put their favorite teams in there, like Ohio State and Alabama. You also don't see Ohio State in here because guess what? Ohio State didn't make their freaking conference championship game, so they don't deserve to be in any kind of position to win a national championship. So yes, so this is how my picks would be right now. Now, obviously, going forward from this point, I probably won't be able to update this chart because you will more than likely will not have these matchups moving forward in the picks. But if somehow miraculously they evolve into this, at least in these two games, then maybe I can update this. But this will probably be the last video I post concerning this. But just so you understand what this bracket is about and where I'm coming from, the way that the 12-team college football national championship bracket thing is devised is total garbage, and because it allows teams like Alabama or Ohio State or South Carolina or whoever who cannot, or Indiana, who can't even make it into their conference championship game to actually try to vie for a national championship. That's total BS and should never be allowed. I don't care whether or not whoever thinks so-and-so team or so-and-so conference is a better team or a better conference than any of the other teams. That's all irrelevant. Like I said, in any other sport, the only relevancy is, can you make it to your conference championships or can you not? And if you can, then you move on. If you can't, oh well, should have won when you had the chance. So in any case, the only other thing that I would mention is if you don't like this scenario here with the highest ranked loser of these conference championships, then just put the sixth conference in here, which I think is the AAC. And, maybe, in some miracle fantasy life or whatever, a team from that conference might actually win beyond this tier here. And, that could possibly happen, but I think that would be a very watered down playoff bracket if you add that conference. But, hey, for all fairness, you could do that, and that would eliminate the team that loses their conference championship game to still compete. So I would be okay with that, but again, that's the way this cookie crumbles. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully that cleared up any misunderstandings from my previous brackets for those that might have not even bothered to watch the video, but just looked at the bracket and make a comment. But in any case, future videos will revert back to my normal channel videos, which are Dungeons and Dragons related, but just needed to vent my frustration with the current way the playoff brackets are being handled. So anyway, thanks for listening to my rambling, and until next time, and as always, see you soon.